Hi there, my name is Lars Moore and I'm the author of the Ohm manuscript, the Seer and the Aramaic language. I'm really a Yeshua freak, a Jesus freak as you call it, and I've been all my life. But especially after I started studying the Aramaic language, the language of Jesus, a complete new perspective on Jesus opened up for me, and I've been writing about that also in the Ohm manuscript. But another thing about connecting to the Yeshua energy is that for me personally it had meant that it have opened up a complete new way of writing for me. I'm very embarrassed I don't ever use the word channeling. But I must admit that when I open my book, the Ohm manuscript, it's full of stuff that I can't account for. That just, it's so full of information that is not part of my experience, life experience. So Yeshua to me is also connecting to the Akashic records and I think a lot of the things that is coming up for spiritual people now these days, there is synchronicity and the way of connecting to the Akashic records, because it's happening for more and more people. So Yeshua for me is not only a person, a historical person, it's also an aspect, the main aspect in life, and it is certainly for me that a living person today, inspiration, is also Yeshua, because Yeshua for me is alive. But I could share with you some very interesting information about the coming Messiah. I don't know if you have ever heard about a rabbi called Yitzhak Kaduri. If you haven't, go and check him out on the YouTube and you will find some very interesting stuff about Yeshua. You know, the Jews, they don't reckon Jesus as their Messiah. And this Messiah, or this Rabbi Kaduri, who died 100 years of age, he was 108 years old when he died in 2006. He said that the last year before he passed away, he had been in connection every night with the Messiah. And he told his disciples that after he died, they could find in his papers the name of this Messiah. And guess what? Who do you think the Messiah was? Of course, Yeshua. So that's sent a lot of shock waves into the rabbinical world. And if you have never heard about Kaduri, but if I mention the name Dalai Lama, you know what kind of person I'm talking about. This guy, he have raised people from the dead. He have been prophesying the death of Kennedy's and Martin Luther King and a lot of other. I mean, this guy, he's really he was really into connecting to the Akashic records also. And for him coming out and with a prophecy about the Messiah being Yeshua, you must understand that this is something very, very special. And you know, he said that this Messiah is already here on the earth, and he will step forward the minute that Ariel Sharon, the former Prime Minister of Israel, have died. But you must remember that Ariel Sharon is still lying in a coma. He had been lying in a coma for 7 years, and the Messiah is connected to this Sharon. Ariel in Hebrew means lion, and you know the Messiah is the lamb, and the lion and the lamb must lie together, and when they lie together in peace, the kingdom of heaven will arise on earth. So it's a very, very specific, special prophecy about the lion and the lamb. So that for me is also very inspirational, and to me that means that Yeshua in more than one way is still alive. So he's still also the most inspirational figure and energy for me right now. To me, it's very obvious that what is awaiting for us that works with spirituality is that we will experience, more and more people will experience connecting to the Akashic records in more than one way, and we will experience synchronicities that in a way we have never experienced before. So it's all a question of how we are we all dressed to handle these new openings. And I think that's the big thing for us in the Western world, is that we ought now to in more ways that we have useful done that, being to have discipline in our spiritual work. We don't, maybe you have done tarot, maybe you have done Christianity, you have done Sufi work, you have done magical work and stuff like that. Now you have to more or less quit it all and just be more centered into the universal thing that has no name. I started writing when I was 10 years old, and I have been writing all my life. But it was really first when I met, when in connection with the seer that I've been writing about in the O manuscript, that things really started happening for me. You should imagine that I've been reading all the books on spirituality and religion ever since I was 15 years old. But in 1998 I got sick and lay in bed for 3 years, and nobody could really diagnose me. So when I got in connection with the seer and he got me out of this state, it was like, you know, I had to walk the talk, as you call it all, and just be more centered into the universal thing that has no name. There's no what do you call it? Yeah, there's really no terms for what I'd like to tell you, but it's an open field, and a lot of people are scared when they are confronted with the open field. You tend to need to connect to stuff that you know, God and stuff. But we are more or less on our own, and we'll be that for the next 10 or 12 years, I think. And it's a big, it's a big experience, but also a big challenge, I think. So that's what we are facing for the next period. You have to be focused, really.